Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandathana, Guru Shishila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining. Anybody likes to read this Japa meditation? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandathana, Guru Shishila Prabhupada. So please read, anybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Right.
Daily japa motivation. Apardha gate sudhan ne mera udya sudhan nama bhavamaya ara premamaya. When offenses are finished, pure name arises in heart of chanter. This pure name grants fulfillment of most rare and super excellent happiness or devotional service on the platform of bhava and then prema. Lila Bhakti Vidnoda Thakura. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Hare. Thank you, Aryan Prabhu, for reading. So this is one of our, Vaishnava Acharya in our parampara, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Aparada gate shuddha na mera udaya shuddha nama bhava maya ara prema maya. So this is the happiness. How it's giving the happiness definition? Most rare and super excellent. Most rare and super excellent happiness. How can we? It's a fulfillment. How will we get the fulfillment and get the happiness? When offenses are finished, free from offenses, pure names, chanting the holy names of the Lord with pure heart, mind, intention, without any offenses. That's where we read every day, right? Every day before chanting 10 offenses to the holy names of the Lord, right? 10 offenses. So we have to work on these offenses. It's not going to be 1 day, 2 day, or 2 years, 10 years, 15 years. Continuously, we have to check and so again, how can get rid of these offenses? By chanting only. Take the Shuddhanam. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Shuddhanam. Shuddhanam, pure holy name. Shuddhanam, that's why it's called Shuddhanam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This pure name is grants. This is what we are hankering for. Fulfillment of most state super excellent happiness or devotion service on the platform of bhava and their prema. So there are stages, you all know, right? 9 stages. And the last 2 stages, bhava and then prema. So there is a chance to fall down or get again come back to material up to this stage, bhava. But when we, reaches at the stage of Krishna prema, there is no question of fall down. How can we reach there up to that point of that last stage of Krishna prema? Again, remedy is already given the Vaishnava Acharyas. Continuous chanting the holy names, work on our offenses, check where, what is it? We have to constantly work on our offenses, aparadas, three kinds of things. Nama parada, nama bhasa, shuddhanama. So when we reach at the stage of shuddhanama, there is no question of fall down. Krishna is always with us. So it's a gradual elevation, gradual process, right? So let us continuously, whatever the prescribed time we are doing everyday chanting, let us do work on this. Of course, Krishna's mercy and Guru's mercy. One day we will chant Shuddhana. Till this point of time, still our offensive chanting only. That's where we get that we are not getting the taste. That's the problem. So let us work on, all of us, including me. So thank you so much for reading. So let us begin with Mangalacharana prayer and our Bhagavad Gita readings. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, entitled as Dhyana Yoga. 6th chapter, entitled as Dhyana Yoga. We are at verse 36. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is sure of success. That is my opinion. Krishna is saying about that. A strong mind, right? So how are we not getting chanting properly? Due to our mind only. Mind is thinking so many other things. Inattentive chanting. So Krishna is giving solutions in this 6th chapter. Completely talks about the mind and how to control all the things. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai, the Supreme Personality of Godhead declares that one who does not accept the proper treatment to detach the mind from material engagement can hardly achieve success in self-realization. Trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire while pouring water on it. Yoga practice without mental control is waste of time. Such a show of yoga may be materially lucrative, but it is useless as far as spiritual realization is concerned. Therefore, one must control the mind by engaging it constantly in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Unless one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, he cannot steadily control the mind. A Krishna conscious person easily achieves the results of yoga practice without separate endeavor. But a yoga practitioner cannot achieve success without becoming Krishna conscious. Again, Prabhupada writing in his purport. Therefore, one must control the mind. How can we control the mind? By engaging it constantly, always in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. That is the only remedy. That is the only medicine. Right? So, yeah. Mata, you can read. Samyukta Mataji. Again, Arjuna is asking questions again here. Right?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? Purport. The path of self-realization or mysticism is described in the Bhagavad Gita. The basic principle of self-realization is knowledge that the living entity is not this material body, but that he is different from it, and that his happiness is in eternal life, bliss, and knowledge. These are transcendental beyond both body and mind. Self-realization is sought by the path of knowledge, by the practice of the Eightfold System, or by Bhakti Yoga. In each of these processes, one has to realize the constitutional position of the living entity, his relationship with God, and the activities whereby he can re-establish the lost link and achieve the highest perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. Following any of the above mentioned three methods, one is sure to reach the supreme goal sooner or later. This was asserted by the Lord in the 2nd chapter. Even a little endeavor on the transcendental path offers a great hope for deliverance. Out of these three methods, the path of Bhakti Yoga is especially suitable for this age because it is the most direct method of God realization. To be doubly assured, Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna to confirm his former statement. One may sincerely accept the path of self-realization, but the process of cultivation of knowledge and the practice of Eightfold Yoga system are generally very difficult for this age. Therefore, despite a constant endeavor, one may fail for many reasons. First of all, one may not be sufficiently serious about following the process. To pursue the transcendental path is more or less to declare war on the illusory energy. Consequently, whenever a person tries to escape the clutches of the illusory energy, she tries to defeat the practitioner by various allurements. A conditioned soul is already allured by the modes of material energy, and there is every chance of being allured again, even while performing transcendental disciplines. This is called Yoga Chalita Manasaha, deviation from the transcendental path. Arjuna is inquisitive to know the results of deviation from the path of self-realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Every day is a war with our mind, war with mental energy, war with illusion energy. Prabhupada writes so nicely. Declare war on the illusion energy, Maya. We are in the three modes of material nature, so always defeats mind. If we trying to control, some allurements comes, but determined, detached, constant practice only helps the mind can get rid of those allurements and uh, away from these three modes. See, that's where that's the medicine is the chanting the holy names of situated beyond the three modes. It is situated beyond the three modes. No, there is no goodness, passion, ignorance in this holy name. It's situated on the Shuddha Sattva platform. It directly connects with Lord. That's where that is the only medicine to get rid of these three modes and controlling this the mind. Constant engagement. Yeah. Akinchan Prabhu, please read this one. Again, Arjuna. Yes.
O mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from the both spiritual and material success and perish like a river cloud with opposition in any sphere? But there are two ways to progress. Those who are materialistics have no interest in transcendence. Therefore, they are more interested in material advancement by economic development or in promotion to the higher planets by appropriate work. When one takes the path of transcendence, one has to cease all the material activities and sacrifice all forms of so-called work, so-called material happiness. If the aspiring transcendentalist fails, then he apparently loses both ways. In other words, he can enjoy neither material happiness nor spiritual success. He is no position. Has no position. He is like a river cloud. A cloud is a a cloud in the sky sometimes deviates from a small cloud and joins a big one. But if it cannot join a big one, then it is blown away by the wind and becomes a non-entity in the vast sky. The Brahmana Pati is the path of transcendental realization through knowing oneself to be spiritual in essence, part and parcel of Supreme Lord, who is manifested as a Brahman, Paramatman, and Bhagavan. Lord Sri Krishna is the fullest manifestation of the Supreme Absolute Truth, and therefore one who is surrendered to the Supreme Person is a successful transcendentalist. To reach this goal of life through Brahman and Paramatman realizations takes many births. Bahulam Jalvanam Ante. Therefore, the supermost path of transcendental realization is Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness, the direct method. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Super. Bahunam Janvanam. So this is the just one why I am stopping here. Yeah. If it cannot join a big one, then it is blown away by the wind. The small cloud, no, is like a riven cloud. Riven cloud. A cloud in the sky sometimes deviates from a small cloud and joins a big one. Just like we are living entities come from Krishna. If we independently work, it's just like riven cloud. We get rid of winds. What are the winds? Winds of material desires, all the material elements. These three modes are just like winds thrown away. Just like living entity cannot. That's why we have to hold the holy names, and hold the Lord's lotus feet, and sincerely practice Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the only way. There is another way. That gives ultimate ultimate that's the ultimate destination. That's path to ultimate destination. Bhakti yoga is the ultimate destination. What is that ultimate destination? Prabhuji, um, what are we? Why are we working on? Why are we chanting? What is the ultimate goal?
Go to Krishna.
Sorry,
Ah.
Krishna Prabhuji.
That's the thing. That's the thing. This is the only one life. Prabhupada writes. Prabhupada instructs the disciples. Give this life to Krishna. That's it. Your life becomes successful. Your life
That's-
becomes successful.
That's what Prabhuji is. We always in association, whatever the reason. So
Ah,
otherwise, it's
right.
very difficult to, yeah.
Otherwise, wind only.
Yes,
Wind, raven clouds. It's like a test. It's like that. Yeah. Read Prabhu. Praveen Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining after a long time. Please
Hare
read.
Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhupada. This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, on one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. Purport. Krishna is the perfect knower of past, present, and future. In the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord said that all living entities existed individually in the past. They exist now in the present, and they continue to retain individual identity in the future, even after liberation from the material entanglement. So he has already cleared up the question of the future of the individual living entity. Now Arjuna wants to know of the future of the unsuccessful transcendentalist. No one is equal to or above Krishna, and certainly the so-called great sages and philosophers who are at the mercy of material nature cannot equal him. Therefore, the verdict of Krishna is the final and complete answer to all doubts because he knows past, present, and future perfectly. But no one knows him. Krishna and Krishna conscious devotees alone can know what is what. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you. Aryan Prabhu, kindly read. Again, Krishna is answering. Krishna is answering from here. Yeah, you can read.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Partha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Purport. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17, Sri Narada Muni instructs Vyasadeva as follows. Tatvyakva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan apakvo tat etat tado yadi yatra kwa vabhadram abhud amusyad kim ko vartha apto bhajatam swadharmata. If someone gives up all material prospects and takes complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a non-devotee may fully engage in his occupational duties and yet not gain anything. For material prospects, there are many activities, both spiritual and customary. A transcendentalist is supposed to give up all material activities for the sake of spiritual advancement in life, Krishna consciousness. One may argue that by Krishna consciousness, one may attain the highest perfection if it is completed. But if one does not attain such a perfectional state, then he loses both materially and spiritually. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one has to suffer the reaction for not executing prescribed duties. Therefore, one who fails to discharge transcendental activities properly becomes subjected to these reactions. The Bhagavatam assures the unsuccessful transcendentalist that there need be no worries. Even though he may be subjected to the reaction for not perfectly executing prescribed duties, he is still not a loser because auspicious Krishna consciousness is never forgotten, and one so engaged will continue to be so even if he is low born in the next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows strictly the prescribed duties need not necessarily attain auspicious results if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness.
Let us give it to Lavesh Prabhu. ठीक है Prabhu? Yeah, Lavesh Prabhu, please read from this purport.
Hare Krishna. The purport may be understood as follows. Humanity may be divided into two sections, namely the regulated and the non-regulated. Those who are engaged simply in bestial sense gratifications without knowledge of their next life or spiritual salvation belong to the non-regulated section, and those who follow the principles of prescribed duties in the scriptures are classified amongst the regulated sections. The non-regulated section, both civilized and non-civilized, educated and non-educated, strong and weak, are full of animal propensities. Their activities are never auspicious because while enjoying the animal propensity of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, they perpetually remain in material existence, which is always miserable. On the other hand, those who are regulated by scriptural injunctions and who thus rise gradually to Krishna consciousness, certainly progress in life. Hare Krishna. Those who shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, completely.
Those who are following the path of auspiciousness can be divided into three sections, namely the followers of scriptural rules and regulations who are enjoying material prosperity. Those who are trying to find ultimate liberation from material existence, and third, those who are devotees in Krishna consciousness. Those who are following the rules and regulations of the scriptures for material happiness may be further divided into two classes, those who are fruitive workers and those who desire no fruits for sense gratification. Those who are after fruitive results for sense gratification may be elevated to a higher standard of life, even to the higher planets. But still, because they are not free from material existence, they are not following the truly auspicious path. The only auspicious activities are those which lead one to liberation. Any activity which is not aimed at ultimate self-realization or liberation from the material bodily concept of life is not at all auspicious. Activity in Krishna consciousness is the only auspicious activity, and anyone who voluntarily accepts all bodily discomforts for the sake of making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness can be called a perfect transcendentalist under severe austerity. And because the Eightfold Yoga system is directed towards the ultimate realization of Krishna consciousness, such practice is also auspicious. And no one who is trying his best in this matter need fear degradation. Hare Krishna.
Super. So we become fortunate by following auspicious path. Prabhupada writes, auspicious path. Krishna consciousness is the auspicious path. One thing is I want to read again. Any activity which is not aimed at ultimate self-realization or liberation from the materially bodily concept of life is not at all auspicious. Activity in Krishna consciousness is the only auspicious activity, and anyone who voluntarily, remember this statement, it feels become sometimes, but there is a lot of hope in this. Anyone who voluntarily accepts all bodily discomforts for the sake of making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness can be called a perfected transcendentalist. So there are so many discomforts in the path of bhakti, but if we still try to show our love to Krishna by chanting these names and following the path, that's a guaranteed path. Go back to God, because this is the thing, we are tolerating, right? We are developing the tolerance. That's a good quality, the devotee quality, so that Krishna is going to be happy and take care of us. I am hugging to myself especially. That's why I'm reading I wanted to read again. Yeah, another 1 or 2 verses we'll read and we'll conclude. Okay, so it's not read. Okay. Samyukta, please read 641. Krishna is only describing here. Yeah.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the highest living entities, is born into a family of righteous person or into a family of rich aristocracy. Purport: The unsuccessful yogis are divided into two classes. One is fallen after very little progress, and one is fallen after long practice of yoga. The yogis who falls after a short period of practice goes to the higher planets where pious living entities are allowed to enter. After prolonged life there, one is sent back again to this planet to take birth in the family of a righteous Brahmana, Vaishnava, or of aristocratic merchants. The real purpose of yoga practice is to achieve the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness as explained in the last verse of this chapter. But those who does not persevere to such an extent and who fail because of material allurements are allowed by the grace of the Lord to make full utilization of their material propensities. And after that, they are given opportunities to live prosperous lives in righteous or aristocratic families. Those who are born in such families may take advantage of the facilities and try to elevate themselves to full Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Suchinam Srimate Gehe Yoga Brishto Vijayate. This is one of the important words. So, unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the past living entities, is born into a family of righteous people and into a family of rich aristocracy. Krishna is going to send in those two families, a knowledgeable Brahmanical family or cash parties, rich aristocracy families, the wealthy persons. So then they need not work for work hard for to do anything, because the family position elevates. That's it. Those who are born in such families may take advantage of the facilities and try to elevate themselves to fully Krishna consciousness. They continue their path. Again, that's the next slide. This one will read. Okay, last one. Anybody likes to read out of Prabhuji's Matais? You can take up any one.
Prabhuji, Ayyar Prabhuji is there.
Ayyar Prabhu is always on the way to he's with his kid. So he's outside. Normally he joins and hears Prabhu. Ayyar Prabhu, want to read? Haribol?
Sorry, Prabhuji, I am in temple. I am taking prasadam. So,
Haribol. Chalo, Prasadam काके ये सुनो ये श्लोक का translation purpose. Chalo. Okay. Anybody read. Aryan Prabhu or Praveen Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Let me read.
Yes.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his worth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly, such a worth is rare in this world. Purport. Worth in a family of yogis or transcendentalists who with great wisdom is praised herein because the child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. It is especially the case in the Acharya or Goswami families. Such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training, and thus they become spiritual masters. In India, there are many such Acharyas families, but they have now degenerated due to insufficient education and training. By the grace of the Lord, there are still families that fosters transcendentalist generation after generation. It is certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. Fortunately, both the spiritual master Om Vishnu Pada Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families. By the grace of the Lord, and both of us were trained in the devotional service of the Lord from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Prabhupada is remembering his Guru Maharaj while writing this purport. Vishnupada Paramahamsa, Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families. By the grace of the Lord, both of us were trained in a devotional service of the Lord. So that's where Krishna consciousness and our ISKCON is giving the training and education, right? Proper training and proper education from the authorized authorized system of Guru Parampara, right? So it says our ISKCON is an educational, cultural institution. We get the training of ultimate, we are getting ultimate education with proper understanding, right? How many of you realize that, you are getting some understanding, some clear understanding by reading Bhagavad Gita, by going through Prabhupada purports? How many of you say that some previous time before coming to Krishna consciousness, or before coming to ISKCON, or before coming to connect with devotees, how many of us clearly understand the Bhagavad Gita?
Even after
So,
coming to ISKCON, this Bhakti Shastri course is helping a lot. Systematically reading and understanding. Seriously.
education system is there, properly given knowledge, right? So we can easily understand from Prabhupada purports, connected verses he is going to write to understand clearly. That's where ISKCON is a education, training, cultural. Ultimately, it gives, this is the thing, devotional service, engaging ourselves in the path of bhakti. So we'll conclude here. Anybody wants to share anything, can wrap up. You are in flight mode. Lavish, bro. You wanna fly. Nice. Thank you for your interest and reading with us. Let us conclude.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving us opportunity to read every day.
I'll get opportunity, Prabhuji. Yeah, you are also giving opportunity to me by the association I am reading every day. That is that I can feel like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Pancha
Prabhuji, any sorry, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I wanted to know, is there any schedule for Gaur Purnima in the temple?
Temple is there, yes. 5 o'clock. Sorry, in the evening, all the way, all complete day kirtans there, Prabhu. They will send
Okay.
anyway that info, but as of now, all the way, and evening Abhishekam is there, because Gaura Purnima is, we are going to fast up to dusk. That means till sunset. So evening after sunset, they have Abhishekam, and Kirtan is there. Maybe Vedant Chaitanya Prabhu or some other HTMC leader going to take class. Then nice Arati and Gaura Arati, big Gaura Arati. Wonderful Krishna Prasad.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Sure. Pancha Kalpatarubhishya Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Bhavamebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada translated the reading ki jai. Hidaya Gaur Hari Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Have a happy